Welcome back to United Tribes News Radio. I'm your host, Alicia Hegland-Thorpe with the Office of Public Information at United Tribes. And I just wanted to thank Dr. Wanda Agnew for coming on to the show today. Dr. Agnew is a registered dietitian, licensed registered dietitian, faculty and extension nutrition educator. And there's probably a couple other hats in there that I'm forgetting to mention. But she's also retiring from United Tribes Technical College. How does that feel?
Well, you know, retirement, you're supposed to only have to say that once, that I'm entering into retiring. And as I think about it, I try to tell myself that we're not supposed to live to be sad because things are over. We're supposed to live to be happy because it happened. Mm-hmm. And lots of times life just does happen. And that's the neat thing about it.
Well, and it's also a new beginning. I mean, you're going to be busy in retirement, I'm sure.
Yes, we're farmers. And so, yes, it's a new beginning, an old beginning. It's different to be a farmer when you're elderly, you know.
Well, welcome to the show. And tell us a little more about yourself. Kind of what was your journey? What brought you to United Tribes? And then, of course, your point to retirement. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, thank you. What a great opportunity. Not everybody gets this. Actually, I grew up on a farm in Emmons County, and so I have connection to the earth and always have. I went away to college to the University of North Dakota and graduated as a dietitian. I asked my advisor what dietitians do, and he said he didn't know. And, you know, I didn't know either. And I still kind of, after 45, 46, 47 years, don't know. I got into a different world. You have to be careful who you fall in love with. I met my husband, and we moved to a small town. There were no jobs for dietitians. So I went to the state health department, and a nice lady there said, you know, they're looking for a dietitian at Standing Rock, the Indian Health Service Hospital, 1971. And I'm like, oh, really? I need money, so I'm going to give this a try, pay off a student loan. So I drove down Highway 1806, and I had never been there before. And since that time and through today, it was embarrassing as an adult to say, I don't know about this place. I don't know about the people. I don't know, you know, is it safe? I just don't know. And so I've learned since then, and my journey, like I said, it just happened. I didn't plan that when I grew up I would be a dietitian working most of my time in Indian country, but that's what's happened. And it's been a good happening, great memories. It's my life. So I worked with the Indian Health Service Hospital. I helped them set up WIC, and that was right after the hunger issues of the 1960s and USDA getting involved. So I did some of that. I worked at the state health department also, and there again was connection with folks. In 1999, I consulted also with United Tribes. At that time, they were setting up their certified nurse assistant program and actually working to get their nursing program set up. They had a foods and hospitality degree. I did some things with that, spent time in the elementary school. And we did some interesting things. At that time, there was the dispensary. You know, it was a little more military, still looking a little more military. So it was fun. In 99, I came back full time. And at that time, the tribal land colleges had gained land grant status. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And land grant status, everybody thinks about NDSU. And that was in 1862, right after the Civil War, when people were really worried about, or the government was worried, who's going to feed our country if we don't have slaves to work the land. And so the 1862s were given the task of educating people about food and researching about agriculture, and then carrying that message out into the community, and it became extending the message or extension. So as each state came on as a state, it was mandated that they had to have an 1862 land grant college, and their mission was to teach about food systems, and agriculture. In 1890, the traditionally black colleges, they didn't have their own colleges, but if any college had over a certain percent, I don't know whether it was 60, 70% of their students were black, they got black college land grant status. The tribal colleges formed in about 1969, I believe, and the presidents were looking at how to build secondary education systems that were really relevant. And of course, land and agriculture and food systems, which had been dismantled through colonization, was a big issue. Mm-hmm. And so they worked with the USDA, and not until 1994, in fact, Dr. David Gipp, I don't know if he'd be listening, but he talked about actually sitting on the floor at the Capitol, or the waiting and trying to get people to listen, how important it would be that the tribal colleges had their own land grant status. And the presidents got that through, and in 1994 that status came out. The money came a few years later, and then in 1999 we at United Tribes decided we should have a nutrition and food degree. We asked the tribal colleges that were in existence at the 5 other tribal colleges in North Dakota what we should offer here in this urban setting, and they said don't compete with us, and none of us are doing nutrition or food. So, and that was very fundable with USDA. In the last 16 years, we've become a leader in the tribal college system. Of the 37 tribal colleges, we're like the only one with a 2-year nutrition degree. And we have a great extension program. We're doing research, small research projects with squash and corn and life skills and other things that USDA funds. So it happened. It was a great journey.
Yeah.
A good story.
Yeah, it is a good story. I could sit here and talk to you forever about it. But one of the reasons why we have you on, thank you for sharing that information. You put it into perspective, that's for sure. But one of the reasons why we have you on the show today is to talk about a very important series of events that happened in Bismarck-Mandan. I understand that you helped to write a grant that eventually was awarded. It was the Bush Foundation grant. Mm-hmm. And explain to us what the importance of this particular grant was for the Bismarck-Mandan community.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was about in September 2016 when through email I was provided, we get a lot of grants sent our way, here, what do you think about this? And we have a strategic plan, so we try diligently not to write just for the fact of money, but that we have a plan. And this one came out, and it was for a Bush-funded event. And I was talking with my supervisor, Pat Awney, at the time, and said, wouldn't it be neat if we had some sort of event where people could talk about all the stress that's going on in this community, all of the things that seem to be divisive and not so happy. And she and I thought, well, yeah, we could do this. We were laughing about it, kind of like, who do we think we are? Well, anyway, we put the grant together, and we decided we wouldn't want to have one event. We would have a series of 3 events that would culminate into an event. It sort of took on its own life. We asked for a small amount of money and that we would have 3 meals. Of course, as a dietitian, I feel like the best conversation and community togetherness has to have some food involved. So we logistically set up 3 meals where we thought we could get 100 people in the community together. Why not think big? And we could sit at the table and have a community conversation. We titled the grant to be a CARE, C-A-R-E, Communities of Care and Respect events. We didn't carry that title very long, and it sort of came, well, we're planning our community conversations. And when we sat together to plan and when we got the award in October, it was like, we don't know anything about this. What are we going to take there to facilitate 100 people to have a good conversation when we know that Bismarck and Mandan is a growing, changing community? It's not just Native American people that we serve. We see new Americans. We see people in stores that don't speak English. It's like, well, so how do we address communities of change? So we had the gathering, and we set up 3 events, March and April, and they were very successful. We come up with the 3rd event where we actually made a list of what's next. There's an informal group getting together right now, and I've shared information, Chamber of Commerce, City of Bismarck Administration, and this group to see, will we continue with community conversations?
Now, I've attended a few of those. No, so the kind of the atmosphere was a little like, you have tables of people, we have our meal, and then you kind of said, all right, we're going to have some breakout workshops, and we're going to talk about the real issues here. What is what's keeping us from getting along, and especially what's happened with last summer. Over the course of the year, and how community relations were strained with things. So, I mean, kind of explain maybe your last one in particular, where you had the writings on the wall.
Well, first of all, we did bring in some training. It was a partnership with NDSU. They were delightful. The Vitality Department of Community Vitality Department with NDSU supported with some funding and some staff, where we brought in Meadowlark associates to train us on what worldview intelligence is. And worldview intelligence, when we got down to it, is how do people form their opinions, and how once our opinion is made in our head, how difficult it is to change. And then we take sides. It's called fight, flight, and fear, and we get real stubborn about it, and it's not even our own conscious decision. It's unconscious. And we struggle with it. So that's what was going on. And it's not just here in Bismarck. It's nationwide. We have opinions, and we have a hard time taking in new information education. The trainers did a wonderful job of giving us information to be hostess and hosts and hostesses. So we did facilitate the 3 conversations on personal and cultural bias or unbiased, and we come up with what we thought we should do next. We thought maybe we definitely need to bring the Native and non-Native people together to dialogue more often, and that United Tribes could probably be a leader in that in one way or the other, inviting people together and have community prayer even. That was brought up by somebody. Another one talked about facilitating with the Mayor's Human Rights Commission that is already existing. Another suggestion was that the 3 University of Mary, BSC, and UTTC do some sort of collaborative efforts. It would be not government, and it would not be business-owned or anything else, as it's higher ed, and it's a little more apolitical, and that would be a trusted place, a neutral place where we could take turns hosting events of groups of people and then get out publicity. And that's what we're trying to do here, is to let people think, so why is it that I am so angry about this? Why is it that I can't respect everyone? Why is it that I have a strong opinion about people that are different than me? Not necessarily to change people's mind, but to have people ask their own question. What's going on here? Maybe just education and sitting around the table, and who would take the lead was a big, strong question. Sure. Who would take the lead on this? So,
and overall, though, I mean, those are people's responses to after attending the event. And there were some people who said, I had no idea.
That's right.
They had no idea that there was, Lemoyne LaPointe was one of the speakers that really, really hit home for me.
Well, one of the things that people told me is, this is so good. This is so good. I didn't even know I had such a strong opinion. I didn't even know I was part of this. We have been a community pretty much the same for a very long time. We've been the same. We were agricultural. We were fairly light-skinned. We were Christian. We were, we are. And so we have to question ourselves, challenge ourselves. Life goes on, and continuing education is very important for all of us.
And what you're doing, what you have done and are going to continue to do is simply Awesome. So thank you so much. I know one of the ways that I had helped you was to help you spend a little of the grant money on how to get the word out on this. And we do have you scheduled on this radio show and possibly some other ones too. But we actually made a public service announcement about this that we're going to get out onto the radio stations. And I just wanted to play that for you here if we could.
Patriotism. It means love and respect for one's country. To love America is to love and respect everyone in America. Almost half the country belongs to minority groups, people of color, of different cultures and religions, values and beliefs, people who have served and continue to serve this country in many diverse ways. So when we judge or disrespect people based on labels, we're not really being patriotic, are we? A message from United Tribes Technical College and the Bush Foundation.
Thank you for playing that. Yeah, we are really excited to get this message out, and we hope we can, if we can just reach one person. You know, we reached a lot of people that day, but there's more people to talk to and have this conversation with. Dr. Wanda Agnew, thank you so much. I wish we could have you on longer, but it is that time. We have to wrap this up. We have other guests coming onto the show, and we'll be back with more after the break. Thank you.
Right now it's 67.
News and Views with Joel Heitkamp. Weekdays on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to United Tribes News Radio. Joining me in the studio now is Mara Ibora and Jana Milner. Both are nutrition educators at United Tribes Technical College, and they're both registered dietitians. We have land grant in the house today. My goodness, all you gals are welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, I should say. And quickly, before we get into our health tips for the month, we have a pretty exciting event coming up that we want to talk about, the bike rodeo. What is a bike rodeo, and why do we want to know more about it?
Yeah, well, a bike rodeo is getting kids ready for summer. So it being bike month, we want to do a bike rodeo to, get those bikes out, dust them off, getting them fixed up, making sure that kids are ready to hit the streets on their bikes and doing it safely. So at United Tribes Technical College, we're hosting the bike rodeo, and we have a lot of other great organizations joining us, talking about the safety on the turning signals and how where to stop, when to stop, looking both ways. It seems a little obvious, but reinforcing those safety things. They're also doing an obstacle course, so putting them on the road, giving them a test ride. And then we have a lot of other fun things happening. Jana and I, we're always talking about nutrition, being healthy. So we're going to be there telling kids to stay hydrated this summer.
Hydration station.
Yeah, absolutely. Come check it out. Like we also have Bismarck Burley Public Health joining us, talking about sun safety. We had Shields work with us to give us awesome deals on some bikes. So we are going to be doing a bike giveaway. We have 6 different bikes.
Oh, 6!
We have the really little ones that have Frozen on them and Star Wars. Yesterday was, Star Wars Day.
Yeah, may the fourth be with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we also have some bigger bikes, like 20-inch bikes for the older kids. So come and register and go through the course, get your bike fixed up, maybe win a bike. We have the North Dakota Department of Health is coming with a lot of helmets, and we got helmet donations from other organizations too. So
and fittings,
yeah, absolutely.
It's
so
really important to get those fitted properly.
Fit you for a helmet, and then they're gonna give you a helmet while supplies last. So get there early. And I guess I probably should say when it is. It's May 9th, next Tuesday. I've been looking at the weather, and it's going to be beautiful.
Yes,
so make sure you're coming. And it does start at 3:30 on South Campus, and it's going to go till 7 o'clock.
So you have time to get in there right after school, or if you have to pick your kids up at 5. Yeah. I'm one of those parents. I have to go and pick my kid up, but I'm certainly putting that bike in the back of my vehicle, and we're coming back.
Yes.
And he's 5, and he needs a new helmet.
Yes. And it is open to the public, so anyone can come. And if you're not familiar with United Tribes campus, instead of coming in the main gates, which have which have stone arch pillars. You go to South Campus. It's just the very next exit, or not exit.
Burley Avenue.
Burley Avenue. Yeah. And so our South Campus, we have a school out there, or we have a building out there, and then it's in the parking lot right in front of that.
So you can't miss it. As long as you hit Burley Avenue, you'll find us.
Look for the bike.
Right. Some of the other things that are going on with that bike rodeo, there's a silent auction. Is that right? Okay, and what's that all about?
So we are participating, like we have for the last few years, in Relay for Life, trying to get money, donating it to Relay for Life for cancer awareness, cancer prevention, very important topic here at United Tribes Technical College. So we decided to have a silent auction during the bike rodeo. I mean, while we got people out there, see if we can get people to maybe bid on some items that they want. So make sure you stop out and look at all the cool items we have to bid on. It should be really awesome, and all proceeds for that are going to go to Relay for Life.
Are we still looking for more donations for that?
Yeah, we're always looking for
Who can they contact?
Chris Knoll, he is with the Health Promotions Department, and he is the captain for Relay for Life this year. And so you can contact him at cknoll@uttc.edu. He would love to answer all your questions and take all your donations.
I actually have something that I would be able to donate, so I'll have to get with him on that.
Absolutely.
And then Relay for Life, just in case anyone knows, the big event, the city event, like this is our side project in raising money through the college, but the big event is June 3rd at Century High School from noon to midnight.
So what we're doing here is part of Team UTTC's Relay for Life fundraising efforts. Okay, wonderful. June 3rd is the big event, and we usually have some sort of setup out there.
We do. It's usually a big teepee, and so stop by our teepee if you are at Relay for Life, and you'll know that's us at United Tribes.
Can't miss us. They're also making burgers, so come
We're grilling out there, nice, hot and fresh, and ready to go right into your mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, for a minimum donation, I believe. Right?
I think it is donate. I mean, it's all donation.
It's for a good cause.
So those people who are ready to do the walk or do the run or however they want to express themselves in Relay for Life, they still have to prepare for it. So you guys have some tips on how to prepare for getting your body healthy for this.
Absolutely. And so in the topic of summer, fruits and vegetables. I went to the grocery store the other day, and it's so overwhelmingly awesome how many fruits and vegetables there are. And in the spirit of Relay for Life, cancer fighting as much as you can, getting those berries, watermelon, peaches, pears, cuties, bananas. I mean, all of it. It's all fresh, and Mara and I were discussing earlier grilling your fruits. I mean, we always think of grilling our vegetables, but grilling our pineapple and even peaches.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
And when you grill,
it does sound good.
When you grill them, it condenses the sugar, so it's even sweeter than having a fresh peach or a pineapple, and then you get that kind of barbecue grill flavor on it too.
So I'm sure if we Google it, we'll find some recipes out there.
Absolutely. It's pretty simple. Just put a little bit of...
Have you experimented with any of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did a workshop a few years ago where we grilled peaches on the grill, and you just put a little canola oil on it, put it right on the grill. You might want to put it on some tin foil or a container, but yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
I love doing kebabs. Just so many different fruits, veggies, whether mushrooms, tomatoes, and then put pineapple on there. A little sweetness. I'm a person who loves pineapple on pizza and with savory things.
Okay.
So
yeah, it sounds good.
Always recommend that.
And the other thing, of course, you have to remember is to keep yourself hydrated if you're going to take part.
Water, water, water.
Yes.
So
water
good
is life.
for you.
Water is life.
Water
Yes,
is
it
life.
is.
It's
Absolutely.
so good for you, and also thinking, try not to drink your calories. I mean, water's obviously the best choice, but don't drink your calories as far as sugary teas, pop, lemonade, these
beer.
ice.
I know people when that shandy comes out, you want to be drinking
hot
that.
summer day.
Absolutely.
But also be drinking your water.
Yes.
Yeah. What about those people who really just don't like to drink water? I know several people who don't care for water.
I always, come to the hydration station at the bike rodeo next Tuesday, because we are going to be having recipes. We love doing infused water. We like to mix and match different fruits and herbs in our water. But
strawberry basil.
I was going to say that. But
that one's so good.
Another good one, citrus mint, putting some lemon, grapefruit, mint leaves. Mint grows like a weed here.
It does.
I know
it's
so easy to grow, and comes up every year. So, just have a little a weed patch.
Awesome.
So
little mint weed patch. It's so easy, and then you just
add it to your water.
Muddle it up a little bit and add it to you can add it to your water, add it to your tea.
Some last minute pointers then for food safety, for getting out there and doing the barbecues and things like that. What do you got for us? We have about a minute or so here.
Okay. Trying to keep those hot foods hot and those cold foods cold. We spend a lot of time when we have barbecues and everything. Our food sits out for hours and hours and hours sometimes, especially. I just think of those 4th of July things, those picnics at the park, just making sure that we're keeping our hot food hot, put it in a crock pot, and our cold food cold, putting it in ice baths, or making sure it's in a cooler at some point. Yep. Should only be out for a few hours, especially when it's like 80, 90 degrees. That's where that bacteria grows, and we want to prevent that. No one wants food poisoning.
No.
And if you don't have an ice bath or a cooler and you can't do this, just remember, if you have that potato salad out there, after 6 hours, do not put it back in your refrigerator.
No.
You cannot reuse that. You're going to have to throw it away. A little serve safe tip for you. Keeping you safe.
You know what? I'm sure there's people who are guilty of that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for being on the show. I just wanted to mention, Jana, I know that you had talked about a documentary that you were trying to help out with.
Yes. Next Saturday, May 13th, I believe it is, day before Mother's Day, 10:30 in the morning at the Heritage Center, there's a documentary showing. It's called The Milky Way, and it's about breastfeeding in America and the formula industry. It's supposed to be really interesting. This is through the Bismarck-Mandan breastfeeding partnership. But 10:30, it's free at the Bismarck Heritage Center. We're going to be giving away prizes at the end. It's going to be great.
Isn't there like massages you can get there?
We were trying to get massages. There are facials though.
Oh, okay.
And
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have facials. We have people from Tastefully Simple there.
So there's some vendors there.
There's definitely some vendors there that are going to be giving away free products, and it's going to be a really good time.
So
and
the focus is for maybe those new mothers or moms to be, or even if grandmothers have grandchildren who are going to be having kids, or if anybody who knows somebody who is going to be having children, or how to help with. Educate more about breastfeeding.
Yeah.
This is a great documentary to see, right?
This is an absolutely great documentary to see. If you have anyone who's even interested in the topic, I feel like that's your baby's first meal.
Yep.
And
it is.
Yeah.
I got to experience that, so it was simply amazing. So I'm really happy that you got to share that message with us, and I hope there are people who take advantage of that. Mara, Jana, thank you so much for being on the show, and we've got more exciting stuff on the way after the break.